You know, there's nothing like being out in the wilderness somewhere and having that morning cup of coffee or a cup of coffee to watch the sunset. But the problem is, especially if you're boondocking, using a coffee maker, which many of us carry, it can really drain those batteries. That's why I'm loving this thing. It's like a little mini French press, but it uses K-cups. Grab the hot water. And we take that water, and we take the rest of this little press, put it over the coffee pot, and pour this like so. Oh, it smells good. Meantime, though, that's my favorite cup of coffee, with my own little French press and a K-cup for convenience.
A question that we're often asked is, how do you get your rig level? And if it's not level, there is no mercy. And Chris has got a way of leveling her rig that she's going to share with you.
When I'm backing up, I have installed here a level. And this will tell me whether I am level right to left, which is great. So I don't want to tip out of bed. But I also have a level right underneath your door handle. And that will tell me whether I am level back to front, because I don't like sleeping with my head lower than my feet.
I don't think anybody can sleep that way.
Yes, it's very difficult. Now, this is perfect. So when I'm backing into a side or pulling into a side, I can look at the two and I can do little tweaks to make sure I'm level. Trick of it is you must make sure your RV is level when you install these two levelers.
So this is a suggestion for the manufacturers too. Maybe if they added a level in the front and a level on the side, that would be such a help.
Yes, and there's no tech to it. These I picked up at a hardware store. They are just the stick-on, so that's why you want to make sure you're level, because once you stick those on, they're on.
All right, so we can get a good level, in a level spot, install these, and then this is awesome.
It's been so helpful when I'm going places.
Always buy 2 DEFs when you run out. One to keep in the rig and one to put in the rig, in the DEF fluid. I only had one, used it up, now I need an extra one. Here's where it goes. You should go without saying, you pour it where it says DEF. But you would be surprised how many people put DEF, which stands for diesel exhaust fluid. You'd be surprised how many people put it in the diesel tank, and that is never a good idea.
Oh, it's thirsty.
It's very thirsty.
Why you have to carry DEF with you is you're not always in a place where people sell DEF, and then you've got a situation.
Yeah, like we're in a little town here in North Carolina, and I went to the gas station where, you know, you can get it at most places. They didn't have it, so we had to find an auto supply store. So just a little, you know, it's not hard to find it, but it just, you know, if you have an extra box of it in the back of your RV, you won't have this problem. Done.
We're in Sharon's RV, and the first thing you notice is there aren't the traditional curtains. I took them all out. For one thing, they were old and worn. They also didn't close completely anymore, and I like the privacy of having the windows completely sealed at night. And we were using Reflectix in the windows anyway, because in the summer it keeps out the heat. In the wintertime it's snug as a bug in here because it keeps our heat in and the furnace heat in. So I put pretty curtain material on the inside that's also insulated. I just bought curtains and cut them up and used it as the fabric. I used the same Reflectix I had already cut for all of the windows, so I didn't have to redo that. And in order to keep them rigid so that they would stay, I put foam core illustration board in between. So this one happens to be behind our high faucet, so it needed to be articulated, it needed to be able to bend. It looks a little undone, but it's where I pull it out. You need that so you can easily pull it out of the window. And what is this that I'm pulling?
That is just a piece of quilting bias tape.
Now there isn't anything else holding it in there?
That's it.
That's it, and it stays there.
That's it, because it stays in that little, it stays in that little ridge that's there.
Now all the windows, you've done that to all the windows.
Every one of them, including the 3 little ones up in the front.
Well, that's a great idea.
Thank you. We like it. It keeps us warm and private.
The solution is pretty simple. It's this. This is simply a 3-tier organizer that is meant to sit on a desk like that. And then you put papers inside. But if you instead put it on the wall like that, it will be the perfect place for you to keep your computers and your tablets as they're charging. Let me show you. We've used this solution now for years and it works great. When we got this new RV, I had to find myself a new one of those organizers, and I did, and here's how easy it goes in. Just 3 little wood screws. That's it. Even I can do this. I plugged my charger cable in at a nearby outlet that's on my unit on the floor directly below the organizer. And this way, our laptops and tablets have a secure, out-of-the-way place where they can be stored and easily charged. The organizer only costs $14.
When you're coming in from outside and you've been in the dirt or in the sand, your feet are all wet, everything's on your shoes, Chris has found a solution to make this easier.
So, Jennifer, I have a bath mat here. And as you can see, it's cut to fit. It has a little suction cups on the bottom so it sticks. When I come in now, I can set my feet here and I don't slip. It has the suction cups. This floor is great, but it is a little slick if you happen to have wet shoes. Solution, bath mat. And then if I come in and I have wet, sandy shoes, I have another little section here, and they're off the carpet. And they keep the carpet clean and dry.
And if this wears out, gets dirty, easy to buy another one.
It's easy to buy another. I can clean it, but when it gets too dirty, off it goes, a new one comes in.
I think this is a great tip because nobody wants to track in all that mud, dirt, and sand that we do.
Exactly, exactly. And then nobody wants to slip when you're coming in with the wet feet. So yeah, it's a good solution.
Well, thank you for the great tip. Gas Buddy is our first go-to app when looking for the lowest prices. It is easy to use and navigate. Simply search by zip code, city, or state. The huge number of users contribute by updating prices regularly, meaning the app is almost always up to date.
And one unique feature of Gas Buddy is its so-called gas price heat map that shows gas price per gallon across the U.S. and Canada. The app is free for iOS and Android.
Gas Guru is another favorite. I like its simple interface with big buttons in large font that are easy to read. Gas prices and stations can be sorted by various ways too.
A favorite feature of Gas Guru is the ability to get directions to a particular station, and that has helped us a lot. The app is free for iOS and Android.
iExit Gas is a good fit for those traveling the interstates. It will help you find stations near exits that you are approaching, including how far they are from your current location.
iExit Gas lets you locate gas stations by name, available fuel type, and that helps me make sure that diesel is available at the next exit. It also provides a map of each exit, and that makes it easy to navigate in an unknown area. They charge for that app, though, 99 cents for iOS only.
Okay, short and sweet. Those are the 3 that we use, but if I could only have one, I would have Gas Buddy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the most accurate, and most importantly, it's the most up-to-date. It's sometimes updated almost hourly. But a close second for me is that iExit Gas. I think that's a pretty handy one on the interstates, even though that one is the only one of those 3 apps that they charge you money for.
A common problem when you're camping is wet firewood. Well, what do you do about that? Our friend Jan is going to tell us how he takes care of that problem.
So if you got wet firewood, which all of us do at some point, you start the fire one way or another. Typically I'll carry dry kindling, dryer lint, and a little bit of dry firewood. start a fire, but then when you start it, you take your wet fire and you stack it around the perimeter of the fire to let it dry out. And you can see these, you see the steam start coming off of them real soon. The rest of these have been here for about 4 or 5 hours and they're pretty much already on fire. So this is Bushcraft 101. When you have wet wood, you just stack them around the perimeter of the fire and let them dry out, and then you store them for the next day and use them then.
All right, this is a great tip. I know that we're all going to need that someday.
So here's a quick tip for those of you who are wondering if your water pump is perhaps going. Maybe it's just a trickle of water coming. Maybe nothing comes out at all. Sean Heinz, tell us what to do.
Hello everyone. So first things we're going to do is turn off our water pump and make sure that we have no pressure built up in the system. And then we're going to open the tap and release any pressure that's in the system. And now we're going to go back to the water pump and open up the strainer. The strainer is located right here. As you can see in this one, there's some kind of white residue inside that might have to be cleaned out. So we'll see what we can do about getting this underneath here. And just unscrews. A little bit of water trickling out there. So I'm going to put that there and cap the water. The strainer comes out. There's no major residue in there. And in here is just discoloration from the plastic. So we can go ahead and put it back in.
Many times that is the cause, am I right?
Absolutely. This will capture any residue from water, any dirt from the parks that you pick up in your water system, as well as any plastics from the manufacturing of the tanks. It just goes back in. And you're done. You can now turn on your water pump. I would recommend doing it every couple of months. If you're using the system and you're always filling up at the same location, such as home, and you know that the water supply is clean, I would recommend every 6 months.
So there you go. That's how easy it is to do. A quick tip on how to make sure your water pump is doing what it's supposed to do. You got these hoses, you got these electrical cables, and they kind of take up a lot of room in the back of your RV. Well, if you've got a headboard in yours, let me show you a great little trick. I had this on our previous RV and now we're putting it on the new one. Went to Home Depot and I picked up something called a Rubbermaid Fast Track. Okay, it consists of a little metal bracket that you can screw right into the back of the headboard, and then from that you can hang all those cords and those cables that take up all that room in the bottom of your storage area in the back. Let me show you how. When you attach the bracket, make sure you fasten it securely. You don't have to put a screw in every hole, but make sure you use enough screws to make sure that is in there solid and it's not going to pop loose if you have a bump. Also, make sure that you use screws that are short. You don't want them to go through the other side of that headboard. I used number 8 by 1/2 inch wood screws. Next up, brackets. I have 3 that I'm going to place along the edge of that bracket. Let me show you how that works. The brackets have a little locking mechanism here. You basically just push it on. There's a little lip, lock it. You can slide it, put it into whatever position you want, and then lock it in, and it stays into place. So there you go, a nice, neat way to stow those cables and hoses. Lots of room left over. I'm Mike. This has been another RV Quick Tip. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the RV Lifestyle channel right here on YouTube.